want to pass it around. It's in the bucket up here. I'm used to like bribing my audiences to come in, you can tell. Just kidding. Okay, are we, thank you. Like, it'll be interesting for me to be like, next slide. Okay, hey everyone. Try to get us back on time here. My name is Angela Carnrite. I am the Senior Manager of Sales Enablement, Digital Sales Enablement, Regional Marketing at Thermo Fisher Scientific. I work in the Laboratory Products Group, which is a group where we do a lot of manufacturing of products that sit in every lab every day in the scientific world. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the company, quick introduction. We're going to talk a lot about using immersive technology to build and advance your sales pipeline. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the after-sales support use case, what we're doing next, what's on our plan in the near future, and then I'll hopefully have some time for questions. So Thermo Fisher Scientific is the world leader in serving science. We have, it's a big company, it's global. We have 125,000 employees, 1.5 billion that we invest in R&D every year, and over 40 billion in revenue. So if you're not familiar with our company, this is kind of the quick overview. We really do take a lot of pride in our mission. It's to make the world, to enable our customers to make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. We do touch the scientific world from what I say bench to bedside. So we work a lot with customers in the R&D side of things, where they're building and creating the cures, all the way through to producing them in some of our factories for some of the pharmaceutical companies. So we do span the full realm. And where we sit in my world, we actually work, as I said, in the everyday lab products. So we've been using immersive technology since 2019. We've used it to build and advance the pipeline. So number one, and first and foremost, we've been using it for our sales team to help them solve the problem of how do I get this product in front of my customer? How do I help them choose the right product? How do I help them find where it fits? And then close the sale, of course. So we want to build our pipeline. So you can see here we've had a big impact on our sales team. 100 million in revenue. This is just under 3 years of measuring. 10% increased win rate. So this is how we get funding every year. We show the impact of how our sales team is using this to really be more effective with our customers in finding and solving their problems. And then 2,500, actually more than that now, closed opportunities. So I want to walk with you guys through the sales process and show you how our team is using the tools at each step to be more effective and efficient at every step. So the first, if you look at, from a marketing standpoint, awareness and education, we've just launched over the last year or two some 3D product exploration experiences. So I've seen a few at the showroom floor. I've seen a few people that have been building different tools, like metaverse-like experiences, to help find the right products and select products. So we've actually done a little bit of a similar model, if you will. The challenge really we had was to share the product value story in an engaging way on our website and at events. We want to help our customers navigate through the experience to help them configure our solutions, but really put that value beyond product up first. Easily access educational materials, and then help them understand how it fits into their space so that they'll reach out for a quote from us. So what we did was build us a virtual solution experience, and we also have 3D workflow experiences, which are really helping them see the product kind of in its space, if you will, understand how it interacts with the workflow for the scientific lab, and then really kind of just read a little bit more deeper level than our product pages can provide. So we have over 10,000 workflow sessions each year globally, with about 6 application workflows and 2 virtual experiences. So I'm going to show you a little clip of what we have available here. So this is our cold storage workflow. We're using this on our website to help, as also at events where we have trade show events, to help introduce our cold storage product portfolio. It's that early awareness of what we have to offer, and then pulling them through to a lead form at the end of the experience where they can either request a quote or just request more information. So that goes into our marketing automation system, and we pull it through into our inside sales team. The other way we're doing this is through workflows. So we've actually built these comprehensive workflows. So one thing about Thermo Fisher is that we have a lot of products. We have a lot of products that fit in a lot of labs. And one of the benefits of that is that we have a solution for pretty much everyone. One of the downsides of that is that how do we make sure our sales team knows how to configure that solution when maybe they represent a third of that portfolio in their basket, in their bag. So we want to make sure that we're pulling through all the different products that we can offer, even if the sales team is specialized in one very small piece of that portfolio, right? So how do we pass that off? So in these experiences, we've actually built in more than just that overview. We've built in the 3D tours that we have, so it's not just like a visualization of the scene. You're actually seeing or having that ability to go one level down and go to that animated 3D tour, open the product, view that specific item, and then add it to a list. And the nice thing about the list is that the customer can build their list as they go through that workflow experience. Each SKU gets added to a list that's generated through the app, and then at the end you can actually request a quote. And we've automated the pass of that information, that SKU level data, over to our Salesforce with that lead collection. So we're getting a warm lead, if you will, into our sales team, so they know exactly what that customer added to their basket, and they can call them up, talk very specifically about what they're interested in. So it adds that level of personalization when we actually are doing that, follow-up call. So let's have a look at the workflow. So you can see that this has actually become a training tool as well as a sales tool for our team. So we're using this to help train our distribution channel partners, helping them recognize, if you recognize this, one item, if they've asked for a CO2 incubator, then chances are, if they're in a cell therapy facility, they may need media or plasticware to help grow the cells, and kind of connecting those dots and creating what I call a trigger to make sure that you can pull that product through and sell more of what we have to offer than just that one item. So the other way we're using our tools is to generate leads. So one very real application that's being done all the time for us is using the tools at trade shows. So what we've done is our lab design tool, which I'll tell you guys about in a minute, is available in VR. So we have like a little module set up at booths, and it brings people to the booth. They get to tour and visualize their scientific lab spaces in VR worlds, which is really just a conversation starter at this point. We haven't really dug into personalizing their own space, but it's a draw to the booth. The other thing that we're doing is using our 3D product tours, which we have on an application. So the sales team can bring their iPad. We have a little booth kit that we've created with a little mini printer, and we have postcards. So we have a little like virtual photo booth with the AR models. It's really fun and engaging. We leave the photo of the lab members, the scientists, with the virtual product. You can see the freezer there in that picture. And they often will put it up on their bulletin board in their lab, and it'll often, our little postcard has like our contact info for the local representative. So just a little memorable engagement. And then while we're waiting for the little printout, it's only a couple of minutes, it gives us a chance to really chat with that customer, understand what they're looking for, what they're doing in their science, and try to uncover new opportunities while we're doing that. So it's been really effective as an engagement just at trade shows. We do a lot of like tabletop shows at different clinical institutes and stuff. So let's move on to discovery, satisfying commitment. So the 3D product tours have been the hit. So that 100 million in revenue, I would say 80% of that is related to 3D product tours. And this is a digital twin that we've built with our vendor partner. We have 35 products now built in this format where you can open the door, you can rotate it, you can go through the hotspots with the features and benefits. As a sales rep, I use this, and I didn't use the hotspots so much. I just used it as a selling tool to, it was like a prompt for me to remember, hey, I need to ask them about this accessory, or I need to definitely call out this feature. So that was how I used it when it comes to discovery. When it comes to satisfy, this is really taking place of a physical demo. So if you're doing a demonstration, if your customer really wants to see the product, there's not a lot of options for our team for some of these larger pieces of equipment. This particular freezer here, this is what we used. We sold a lot of these during the pandemic to store the COVID vaccines, the -80 freezers. This is probably at 600 pounds, you know? And during a time when we had such a huge demand, it was nearly impossible for us to get a demo product out the door, right? We had to get them out to customers, right? So having this virtual digital twin was immensely, it was invaluable to our sales team, because they could actually profile the product, they could demo it without having to even leave their house. We could share it on our screen, we could show them in AR through our iPads, really give them a sense of the product. So this is causing us to be more effective at our sales, but it's also behind the scenes, you know, we're saving a lot of money in travel costs for our employees, in demo inventory, in service installation and repair of our demo inventory, and of course shipping fees. So I always say like that kind of pays for itself beyond the value of attributing the revenue through the sales team. So we have 100,000 or so unique 3D product tour sessions each year across 32 product tours. So this is a global application. It's been implemented across the globe, but we keep it in, so far it's just, we've kept it in English, but we're looking at how we can regionalize these solutions for other geographies and different languages. So this is an example of that application where we could, when you're in the field, use your iPad to see, hey, does that incubator fit in that tiny little space in the lab? And it may not be like perfect, but it definitely gives the customer a sense of what it's gonna look like in their space. It gives them confidence that, you know, if it arrives, like it'll most likely fit in there. And it also it's just kind of fun, honestly, with them in the field. It's still a bit of a novelty, right? This one is a video, and I may just voice over it actually. This is in my office. I've placed the centrifuge. A customer wanted to see how the rotor, which is the blue buckets, and that the accessory looked within the unit. So we can actually place it in your space, share it over your iPad. They really get a sense of the size, what it can do, the accessories. And this is all through virtual demonstration. Included in this, I don't know if you were at the panel, but we also have the ability to build lab designs in 3D. So at the satisfy, commitment, and close, I always think of this tool as helping them really show how we cover the need behind the need. So first you say, okay, I need a product, I need a freezer. Great. So we pick the freezer out, we get the configuration done with that freezer, and then I say, okay, where are you gonna place the freezer? Where's it gonna go? Well, that's a good question. And I've lived this. I've had customers, we had to measure rooms and like think about how we're gonna rearrange the items in a specific room to fit this new freezer in, right? And literally an hour and a half of measuring and like talking through all sorts of scenarios. And I can't tell you how many times I've done a new lab setup where it's like everything you see here, they've got a quote on an Excel spreadsheet, and they're saying, okay, I've got to fit it into this space. So I had a customer even build a cardboard cutout to scale, no word of a lie. And when they brought it out for me, I was like, how do you have time for this? But at the time this was in 2018, and I just finished renovating my kitchen, and I'd used like a 3D visualization tool for my kitchen. I was like, why can't we do this for labs? Like, we could save everybody time, right? So this is really that like extra step, that extra way that we can add value to our customers. And you can build this, you build your lab to scale. Of course, it's our products in our version of the lab design tool. You build it to scale, you fit things in, you can test out different scenarios and workflows, like how do you want to work in the space? This is the two-dimensional visualization, but I'll show you in a second the 3D and then the VR capabilities that we have with this. And this is really taking us to another level with our customers. So if they would spend hours, days pulling together models of how the lab's going to come together, we could spend kind of minutes, if you will, like just we can like trace up a floor plan real quick, add in the products that we've decided are the best fit for them, and solve some really interesting problems. So one of my customers said, hey, I really want to optimize my cell growth in this cell culture room, but I only have so many connections for CO2, like some of the gases they need, and it's so small. How do I know? And I can't risk the downtime of buying the wrong product and then having to ship it back for like a different one. So we plugged it into the tool, and sure enough, we could fit the larger capacity item. And of course, it was great for me because it was like a 40% higher price, so upsell for me. But it solved a big problem for the customer, which was scale up. They wanted to build their lab so that they could actually be ready for that scale up instead of having to plan for it down the road and have to like change over some of the really expensive equipment that they were buying. So we have over 900 product digital twins in this catalog. This is a competitive advantage for us because as we use it today in our group, in our division, there's about 600 products that we represent, but we have another 300 that belong to other groups within Thermo Fisher. So it allows us to really leverage the scale of the organization and pull together full solutions for our customers and really visualize it in a different way. So let's have a look at the lab design tool. This is not a real space, by the way. So you can see our customers can set up workstations. They can see how the benchtop equipment will fit. Do they need another bench space when they're configuring? It's a lot more expensive to do changes after the fact, after your contractors already have their plans. So having this capability of being able to visualize this up front helps on all sorts of levels that are practical, but also on the change management, because customers have said to me afterward, like, it's so valuable for me to be able to kind of be in the space before it's even built, so that I can see like, hey, that table is going to be in the way. I don't want the microscope there. I want it on the other side of the room, because more people can, get by. There's the egress piece, right? So there's a lot to it. And by the way, all the videos here were created by my production crew. We have a video lab as well, a studio. So I just want to call out to them. They've done a great job pulling these together. So let's move on to post-sale. So we closed the sale, we've increased our order value, we have made the customer super happy and excited about the lab they're about to get. So what do we do now with our products? So what we've done now is taken those 3D product tours and we've added a layer of support hotspots. So I went to my tech support team and I said, what are the most common questions that you get like when somebody gets their product, give me the top 20. I said top 10, he gave me 25. So I loaded those into a different color of hotspot, and so we're looking at building this into our post-sale support system. Like when you go register your serial number, you'll get access to user manuals, maybe some videos on how to get set up and going, but also the access to this 3D tour already configured with the support hotspot, so they can kind of view the support in context to where they need it. The second piece is the film studio. So we actually have an immersive lab that we call Immersive Lab. It is a real place. It is in Pittsburgh, and we set it up during the pandemic to help our team do demos. So it's real products. It's like a perpetual trade show floor, and we've actually hired a professional film crew to help assist with on-demand demos for our customers. So they're led by our subject matter experts and our sales team, and we are the hands and the eyes of the demo. And we're finding this is really helpful because not everything can be accomplished on a 3D tour. There may be like nuance, accessories. We've sometimes have funny little like questions of how our product performs, and we have to test it in different ways. So we can do that in our immersive lab. And so we actually build a lot of post-sales film content here, which I'm now looking at how do we integrate that with some of our 3D assets as well. So what's next? We have a lot of tools that are being used. We have great ROI. We have support from our leadership. In fact, we now have an immersive tech team at Thermo Fisher corporately that is helped driving this throughout the organization, which is amazing and awesome. So we're actually looking at now, like, how do we give our sales team a way to access all of the different tools that we have for them, but be it immersive tech, 3D experiences, tools, or a traditional brochure, right? We want to have them go to one place. So we just launched a solution that is a content management system that allows our customers, or our sales team, to basically share any of our sales and marketing assets from one spot, which is, we've got 40% adoption in 2 days. That's how much we needed it. So it's really amazing to start pulling all the different pieces together now and saying, great, we have this app, we have that app, we have this brochure, we have that tech note, we have a case study, we have a video. Let's pull it all into one place and present it in a really nice package to our customers so that it's easy for them to consume, right? Secondly, we're looking at some of our 3D spaces that we've built, and now we're looking at overlaying them with a training module. So we have a new hire onboarding. So back to some of the others on adoption. We decided that we needed to get all of our team members on this early. So when we look at this, we said, let's build the new hire onboarding strategy in 3D and introduce them to the technology while we're teaching them about the products and how to sell them. So that's kind of the next wave of what we're doing. And web AR, so all of our products in the lab design tool will be enabled in probably a few weeks with web AR capabilities. So then we'll be able to kind of enhance, if you will, all of the traditional marketing assets that we're building with the ability to see it in your space. So both the web page, hopefully, if I can get the web team on board, and also the traditional marketing assets through like QR codes and kind of bringing those two-dimensional assets to life. So that's, I just want to quickly say thank you to our partners. So we work with K-On Interactive with a lot of our 3D development. We also have a group internally. Our Creative Innovation Studio is our studio where we work with the immersive technology community of experts and corporate team. We have some developers internally that we work with as well. And then for our events and like hosting some of our experiences, we've worked with CXApp and webinar.net. So with that, I'll take some questions if you guys have any. If we have time.
Let's do maybe one question. They can use the app. Sure.
Hey, Sean Peterson with Johnson & Johnson. One of your first slides talked about how you track sales and if they use immersive technologies or not. I assume before you had an XR program, that didn't exist. How did you identify that need, and then how did you go about implementing it and getting people to actually check the boxes to, when they actually used it?
Yeah, interesting. So I was out in the field in a sales role, and I basically had identified the need for a tool that would help, right? So it was the lab design tool was my big idea, and I kind of basically pulled together a business plan, and I pitched it to our president at the time. And he's like, oh yeah, I think this is gonna work with something else we've got going. So I have a vendor in mind, let's see if they can do it. So that's how it all kind of started rolling. So I had support from a senior leader, which really helped at the time. But as far as like building and tracking, so it took us a couple years to get to the point of that sophistication, I'll say. And it was pretty easy. Like our vendor partner has an engagement portal for all the metrics on like the assets that they build for us. So anonymized data on, the engagement with the tools. But I wanted to know how that was translating, right? So what we did was, it was actually pretty simple. I worked with my CRM partner, and he said, why don't we just, there was some competition with calling it a campaign with my marketing team, so I didn't want to create that friction. So we actually created a new object in Salesforce where they could check the box whether they used one of the digital tools. And that's actually been really successful. So we've got, I think it's somewhere in the range of 35 to 40 million per year that we can show is related to using our tools and revenue. So that's what we've done so far. And once we have the content management system kind of up and running, I'm hoping to pull some more specific data on how people are sharing those experiences with customers, how customers are consuming them, how much time they're spending, more specific to each kind of sale or opportunity. So we're linking all the different pieces through some various tools, but we're definitely integrating over time and getting a little more sophisticated on how we report that out. I hope that helps. Yeah, that's it. Okay, thanks everyone.